Jake, welcome back.
Yep.
How are you?
Damn good.
Yeah, you happy to be here?
Yep, we're going to Cheesecake Factory tonight, and it's going to get lit. It's just going to get lit.
It's what you have to look forward to in your early and late 30s is Cheesecake Factory. So, you turn 40 here soon, huh?
Don't worry about it, man.
Yeesh. Jake, what are we talking about today?
The return of Trajectory Arms to the channel.
This guy right here, right?
Yes.
So, gun from Trajectory that is, more importantly, as equally important for me and CGS stuff that I do, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
First, what's the housekeeping stuff we got to do, Jake?
Let's see some basic, any ways you guys could support the channel. We've got different merch on the site. Still the main breadwinner for the channel is helping you guys with your real estate needs. So if you need real estate help, you can let us know. We would prefer you not email us about buying a little bit of land. Actually, we would request that you not email us about that. Beyond that, there's Patreon.
If you have $1 million in cash in a bank somewhere that you can use for this deal, we can entertain it. If you don't call us.
Yeah. So, but yeah, different ways you guys can support the channel. We appreciate it, and there you go.
We'll jump into this.
Sure.
Cool.
Why not?
So to get started, I use my phone for my notes, guys. Someone in the comments was like, he just reads it off the internet. No, I put my notes on my phone. He prints them off paper form. So that's what I look at when I look at my phone, right? It would be the digital form of that, if you guys are confused.
I'm tracking, man.
Are you tracking?
I'm with you.
So, reason why I chose Trajectory, I guess.
Did you say Tros?
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said Tros.
Dang it, with the T-C-H-R.
Tros.
Why I chose Trajectory to do a gun for us is I needed some demo guns for CGS.
Yes.
I work for CGS Suppressors now. If you're new to the channel, it's a suppressor company that makes this suppressor right here. So this right here is a Hyperion K.
Word.
Okay. Now, reason why that's important is a Helios is typically what you would thread on, direct thread style, to a 5.56 gun.
Sure.
A Hyperion is 5/8 by 24.
Right.
Now, why is that special or important, Jake? I'm going to tell you why. First, we're going to get to this, though. He also had the can sent out and Cerakoted for me, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And originally, I've replaced and changed some parts on this.
Okay.
Originally, it was all tan parts and green parts.
Okay.
Okay, so like tan stock, tan this.
I feel like I remember that being the case.
And he called it, I'm going to do a barf pattern for you. Because I guess that color scheme of tan and green is called barf. I didn't know this. He told me.
It's good looking.
He probably knows better than me. But I switched out a couple things. So originally we had a Magpul Me add-on. I do shoot this gun a decent amount at the demos, and people that come to the demos shoot it. Mm-hmm. I don't like that grip, so I switched to this.
Okay.
Originally we had a Magpul SLR stock on here.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that. This is an LMT SOP mod. So I like these. This is going to get set up as a night vision demo gun here pretty shortly in the next week. So I kind of wanted it to be set up for me for night vision demos as well. So it does a little bit of everything. Accessory parts on here too, before we get into like the nitty gritty, are the SC Irregular parts. Slade from SC Irregulars.
He's actually producing parts now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
These are them.
Okay.
And these are wire management panels as well as his hand stop. I chose to throw his parts on here because he works with CGS.
Sure.
We work together on some stuff, so it was just kind of fitting.
Okay,
so,
cool. I didn't know that.
Getting into some of the nitty gritty here, let me pull out my notes. We're gonna go tip to butt, right? Nut to butt, top to bottom, however you want to put it.
Whatever makes you happy in life is what I recommend that you do.
Thanks, Jake. That's what my wife tells me the same thing. So, reason why it's important that we point out this is a Hyperion K. We chose the suppressor and built the gun around it. When I say we, Alex.
Yes.
Okay? We is a very loose term.
Yes.
So Hyperions typically come in 5/8 by 24. Most 5.56 guns, the barrels are threaded in half by 28.
Right.
So Chris, why did we do 5/8 by 24? We put a 25-degree taper on the barrel behind those 5/8 by 24 threads. What that does is allow a couple things. When this can is on there, go ahead and thread it on. So you're gonna hit resistance and then go hand tight, and literally that's all you have to do with CGS cans. But on top of that taper, it will never walk off or back off. It also traps and seals the gas inside the suppressor how it's supposed to, so we can tune the system even further to run really on that bleeding edge of reliability and soft shooting.
Okay.
Barrel is a Psionics barrel. He is making a Gen 2 version of this rifle that will have a different barrel manufacturer. He's just kind of sourcing that right now. He's thinking Criterion along with some other ones, okay? Now the gas system. This one is a mid-length gas system on an 11.5-inch barrel that he then has custom tuned inserts for. So when I say tuned to the max, he would shoot this gun, take out the insert, put a new one, take out the insert, put a new one, and he basically built a custom gas system for this.
So essentially,
in so many words, okay?
As a broad overview statement,
yeah,
the notion was as close to we could get to an SD, if you will, AR.
Yeah, so you're tracking, you're ahead of me on this, but yes. And actually, he even engraved on here, TASD, Trajectory Arms SD, and this is gonna be a standalone product that he offers.
Yeah.
So just the upper, which is pretty cool.
Are you gonna hit a point where you talk at all about Alex and kind of as an overview?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of go through the gun and then go back to why Alex did this specifically for us.
Cool.
Okay, so you threw me off my groove here now. Okay, so rail, we got a URX4 from Knights, 11.5, right? Now, the reason why he went with this rail is, in his words, these are the greatest strength to weight ratio currently on the market in his opinion.
People say the same about me. For this weight, 170 freaking pounds, this is as strong as you can get. Do you want to mess with it? You don't want to fucking mess with this, man. That was a hammer fist to the face.
You guys notice
everyone.
I did not even flinch.
I could have just muzzle struck him. He wouldn't have known.
So the URX4 rail has the greatest strength to weight ratio. And I asked him, like, well, why wouldn't we go with like something ultra lightweight then? Mm-hmm. And he's like, Chris, you plan on using this for night vision? I was like, yeah. And he's like, when you throw a laser emitter on this, you want it to maintain that zero as well as you can.
True.
Right? Now, he also liked, much like we direct threaded a suppressor onto a barrel, why have a barrel nut if we have a barrel system that just direct threads, in a way, onto the upper receiver? He's like, it's taking out a potential point of failure. And again, strength-weight ratio, this is a great option.
Okay.
Now, Knights is doing a run of these rails for this project for him.
No shit.
So yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. So he's spoken with them, however that works. I don't want to overstep boundaries or step on toes, but he's going to have plenty of these rails for this project. Okay. Gas system we kind of went over already. Bolt carrier group. So him being and Trajectory being the professionals that they are, this is one of his last personal Trajectory Arms BCGs that he had made / inspected / he kind of customized a little bit. It was the last one in his safe, and he said, hey, I was saving it for a personal gun, but I wanted you to have it on this gun, so we threw it in there. So he took stuff from his own collection kind of to build this for us.
He's a nice man.
Because he's a great man.
He's a nice man.
Your bolt carrier group for him is all the dimensions and tolerances are measured and inspected to be within his spec.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
The biggest, most important thing he wanted to point out is that because everything is inspected and measured, there's no gas leaking or minimal gas leaking. It is proof tested, MPI tested, microparticle inspected, right?
I do the same.
And meant to be a hard use full auto BCG. He does use Springco ejector springs to even add more reliability. Okay, so again, a theme through this is he has overbuilt this gun, and we'll wrap back at the end on why that's important. Charging handle, if you want to pull that charging handle back, tell me what you see.
Radian Raptor SD.
There we go. So he threw in the SD charging handle on this too, which to him, he told me in so many words, he built this whole system, right? The SD charging handle is the added like 2 to 3% that he could get out of this system.
Yeah.
So again, he is such a professional and such a nerd in a loving way, I say that in a loving way, that he wanted to squeak out another like 3%. And so he chose that charging handle.
3% is 3%, man.
I'll take that 3%. Lower, let's get to the lower. Lower, well, I guess upper receiver and lower are both Zev. And I asked him why he went with that. And he said, in his opinion, the fit and finish and the quality control on their upper and lower receivers is kind of bar none.
Okay.
So he wanted a great fit and finish. That's why he went with those.
I don't know why, but that's surprising to me.
Yeah.
Not that I have a reason. I just wouldn't have associated Zev
Yeah.
uppers and lowers with
Yeah.
each other. Yeah.
The more I've been doing some reviews and working in the industry, Zev makes some very good high quality parts and has some very interesting people who work there as well as contracts.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that. Lower parts, this is something that everyone nerds out on. So dust cover has that as well as a little forward control design. So he went with forward control designs on all the lower parts kit with the dust cover and everything. To him, they add some functionality and purpose to it, like the bigger bolt release and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
He also said he really likes the company, the owner, and the quality of parts is kind of bar none. So
That's their safety too?
Yes.
Man, that safety is good.
Isn't it crisp
really
and nice,
like that safety.
right?
Holy shit, I like that.
Good ambi safety for you, right?
God, that's a good safety, man.
But he said, in his opinion, both the way the bolt catch is designed as well as the quality of the parts and their quality control, they're the best parts kind of on the market. So again, for a gun to be the like creme de la creme,
Yeah.
he felt that was necessary. Did
Word.
you like that accent?
It was 4 out of 10.
How dare you? Trigger, we got a Geisley SSA, so 4.5 pound. He is gonna offer the Geisley trigger that is that trigger, but with a round trigger shoe. G2, I think is what it is. But it's rounded instead of a flat face trigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's light.
I put SSAs in all of my guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crisp.
Yep. I put SSAs literally in all my personal guns, SSAs.
Yeah.
And there's a reason behind that, but I think it's just some of the best on there. Like I said, grip originally was a Magpul Miad. Buffer tube. We went with the Viltor A5 system with the Viltor A5 H2 buffer in there and a Springco green spring. To him, he chose that too because one, it soaks up a lot of recoil. Two, it prevents wear and tear on your BCG slamming into the rear part of the buffer tube.
Yeah.
And again, on a perfectly tuned system that's around that, it is would you agree, a very soft shooting 11.5 inch?
Yeah, yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, very, very nice to shoot.
Yep. I'd say probably the softest 11.5 inch that I've ever shot.
I should say this. When I say it's very nice to shoot, I mean, by the standards of really good ARs, like this is in the, like, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
He does attribute a lot of that to that Viltor system because, again, it adds longevity to the life of the system.
Yeah.
It soaks up a lot of that recoil. It prevents a lot of the abuse. Prevents some carrier tilt from what he said. It's just an overall better recoil system. I thought they were kind of, what's the word? Overhyped. But after running it on this gun as much as I have, I think I'm going to try that on some other things.
Yeah, no, they're solid. When I talked to Sons of Liberty too, they were they're big proponents of it. Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to ask you, who is Trajectory Arms?
Oh man. So here's the unfortunate reality, guys. We had 2 or 3 videos with Alex on the channel, and we had to delete them when we got demonetized for some unknown "you're showing gunsmithing," but bunch of garbage. But we got demonetized, left to figure out which videos we had to delete to get back on their good graces, and we had to shit can those videos. So Alex, I rank is this. I trust him with my personal guns.
It's a short list.
A lot of them. Like, I mean, he works on a lot of personal shit for me. He is my go-to gunsmith in Utah.
From Sug Guns to rifles, right?
Yep, pistols. Yeah. I mean, he's worked on a bit of everything for me. But when it comes to a guy that I trust to build an AR platform rifle that I know I can trust and every single thing has been checked, he's my guy.
He's the guy, dude.
He's my guy.
Yeah, for any project in that kind of facet, I think he's the guy. He also offers, if you buy a run-of-the-mill AR off the shelf, he'll kind of run through it and give you some potential upgrades.
The inspection service is, so that was probably the first thing I ever actually had him do. I gave him a 10.5, had a bunch of rounds through it, and I said, hey, do your inspection service on this. Tell me what could be better and whatever, and it's like, he did all his...
It's like a 120-point inspection thing or
yeah,
whatever.
It's like a Jiffy Lube for your gun, and then he's like, hey, look, here's what I recommend. Here's your sheet if you just want the sheet, but it's like, if you want me to do shit, I can do shit, and he retuned that gun, and that gun's fantastic now.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side, I asked him, why were you willing to do this for like me and CGS? Like you owe us nothing. And dude, without a hiccup, he's like, well, I think to get a company that's pushing the envelope as far as manufacturing and some of the cool additive manufacturing that we're doing with these suppressors, to get those engineers to work hand in hand with someone like him, because he did call CGS and they've had some correspondence on kind of this project and some others. He's like, dude, you're getting experts in one field that are working together with an expert in another field to have a baby, and this is it.
Yeah.
And he really wanted this to be like his, man, I was gonna say coming out, but that has a different implication. This to be his like flagship rifle. Mm-hmm. Meaning, if he had to send something into the world to show what he's capable of, he wanted to build that, and that's what this is.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a showpiece.
To me, I'm incredibly humbled that he signed on to do this with us, with literally asking like nothing in return. He was like, just go shoot it. I want people to see what we're capable of here at Trajectory Arms when we work with a great manufacturer, and this is the end result.
Yeah.
Which, dang it, like I'm falling in love with that. Like,
well,
good on him for like being willing to do that, because he sees the benefits of it.
Well, and like, look, big companies are good. I mean, it's good to have big companies around, but what big companies typically can't do is pivot very easily or quickly.
Correct.
Or at all. They're simply not willing to. So it's cool to have those companies that are in that sweet spot of size where you're like, look, it's a little bit of a smaller company, and they can, if they choose, take on some unique shit like this. And he's still in that category, and like, hey, look, might not always be in that category, but for his now, like that's a local Utah business where it's like providing a damn good service. And again, like this is like my personal dollars go to him when I need gunsmithing shit done.
Same.
Like there's no hype here. Like I've supported his business a lot.
Yeah, he's worked on my personal guns also. That BCM that we had to rebarrel had 20K through it. He rebarreled that. So getting into final thoughts here and potentially cons. What's a con of a suppressor tuned rifle?
If you're not going to run it suppressed,
then you can't run it, right?
As well, I would assume. I would assume it's not going to run great.
Cycle.
Yeah, I was going to assume it's not going to be great.
Now,
but that's the whole fucking point. It says SD on the handguard.
Exactly.
Why is your can off?
I was hoping you would kind of get to that. So,
like, what's the point then?
You know, some people are like, well, I want to be able to run the rifle without it being suppressed. I'm sorry, but you're telling me you spent $9.99 as well as a tax stamp as well as a wait period to not shoot your suppressor?
Yeah.
We covered this in another suppressor video.
Yeah, it's just
DT
dumb.
or direct thread versus QD, we covered that. I'm sorry, that's just not the case.
Yeah.
No one ever, once they get a can, is like, I'm not going to shoot suppress today. I'm sorry, it just doesn't happen.
No.
Two, someone, and not someone, I guess, Alex, because I asked him, I said, what are your impressions or like, what's your opinion on the cons of a suppressor tuned gun? And he said, well, the system does become a little bit more complex for your average person to work on. So say you or me. Now, fair point.
Sure.
He then followed it with this. However, I will warranty this till the day I die. So you have someone that will work on this till the day he dies. So that concern's not even a concern anymore. And he takes it a step further. Say I needed to send this in, he will send me a replacement upper to run while he fixes this and then swap it back.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, if you have an SBR and you're sending in the whole gun, there's NFA stuff you're gonna have to figure out with that. He's the full FFL SOT, so it doesn't really matter. But again, for any customer that buys this upper, if you have issues with it, he'll send you one to run as he's fixing yours.
Yeah, try not to bombard him with that. Although I really doubt your gun's gonna break down.
Let's see here. Another argument for that, like, well, I want to be able to shoot it without this. He is trying to maybe change the way people view suppressors and suppressed weapons. View it as a system. Your firearm also won't run without a BCG, correct? Because it's part of the system.
Sure.
So this is also maybe venturing into the idea of not a suppressor and a gun, an entire system that works as one whole thing. Again, your gun won't run without a BCG or a trigger because it's part of the system. Imagine the suppressor just being part of the system.
Sure.
Okay. Last thing, because I know people are going to ask, I got a Unity riser with a Leupold LCO on there.
Do we know price on these?
Yes, so just the upper he's selling, as just the upper itself, $1,800.
No can?
No can.
I'm assuming, yeah.
Correct,
Okay.
no can.
Yeah.
Now, you want the can on it, that's $9.99. But again, the workaround is this. At your local shop, you could put in your paperwork for this, get that started at $9.99, and then he's building this for you. Once that can's done, because again, it doesn't have to be this specific Hyperion, it is tuned for the Hyperion K cans.
So like the system. Yeah.
Exactly. So once that's out of ATF jail, Your upper comes in, you slap that on, throw it on a lower, and go to work. So not bad for a completely custom, hand-tuned, hand-built upper.
Yeah, that is very lightweight. That is a very lightweight system, but it's robust, but it's also very lightweight.
I'll get you that weight without optics and the accessories I put on there. He weighed it, it came in at 6 pounds, 6 ounces. So I imagine after I put a laser emitter on there, we got the optic and everything, it's gonna come in right around 7.5 to 8 pounds, which to me is a perfectly like median between a good quality gun that the recoil is gonna be absorbed by the weight a little bit, but not so heavy that you're worried about the weight.
Well, it's not gonna be front heavy because the can's, if I remember right, titanium?
Titanium.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. And that we measure that in ounces, not pounds. So
yeah.
It comes in in ounces.
Yeah,
so
fancy.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
As you know, getting into maybe a different aspect of this too, wrapping the video up, as a left-handed shooter, how is it as far as gas, recoil, impulse, etc.?
It's really good. I mean, recoils, you know, is nominal. It's an AR, you know.
Yeah.
It's like whatever.
But 11.5s can be a little snappier.
Yeah, no,
right?
it's really good though. Gas. So if I put about 10 rounds through that at a quick cadence, I'll start to get a little gassed out.
Okay.
Okay. So 10's about my threshold where I'm like, yeah, like I'm not like, oh God, you know, where you're just like hurting.
Yeah.
But you're like, all right, you know, I'm good for a sec. But that's about 10 rounds. Gas-wise, you know, it is tuned nicely. It's not gonna be bad for a lefty at all, especially compared to like some of the piston guns like SIG MCXs, which I like. I actually like the MCX, but it's like, holy shit, man, with a can, like you're fucked as a lefty. But yeah, it's really solid. You could, you know, if you went like full flow through on the cans or something like that, you could knock it down even more. That's just pros and cons. That's you weighing what can you want.
What works for you.
Yeah, you know, so it's like everything's trade-offs, you know.
Yeah.
But it's really solid. I've had Alex work on stuff for years. It's a bummer. We had to take down his videos. That sucked. But it was just the nature of the beast that we got dealt. So it's good to have him back on and actually featuring his products now, because it's like, I would trust anything that he produces and or inspects with my life.
Guaranteed. Yeah, I agree. And last final thought, I guess, you know, I travel the country for CGS doing demos. This gun will be with me everywhere I go. If you come out to one of those, you're more than welcome to shoot it. Everyone that shoots it really enjoys it, asks a lot of questions about it, and thinks it's a smart route to go.
Yeah.
We're probably 1,800 rounds plus or minus on this, and not a single malfunction thus far.
Yeah.
So, cool.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks again to Alex and Trajectory Arms, the guys over there, and we'll see you next time.